We should be live. Oh, excuse me. We should be live now. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend, an opportunity to have some fun, getting out, enjoy the nice weather if you were able to have it. And if you won some money playing daily fantasy sports, all the better. Here to talk about some of the better plays for NBA DFS tonight. It is the 19th of April. If you can click that thumbs up button, it is always appreciated. And let's get into some of the better plays for the evening. All right, guys. Before we get into that, today's show is brought to you by our friends at Drafters. So we talk about Drafters all the time. It's a blast. You get to do these snake drafts. We play private games with a bunch of our customers every day. They got a monster NFL contest up right now that's going to have huge overlay. I'll be doing some of those this week. If anybody wants to draft with me, hit me up and let me know. It's only a $5.50 buy-in, and they don't even have the contest half full. Only 10 days to go. But we are looking for some players to draft with us in a private DFS 5-pack draft today. 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a $10 buy-in. We'll probably have anywhere from 5 to 10 players. If you want to join, please let me know. We'll announce the winner on the show tomorrow. And if anybody new wants to sign up and you use the promo code DFS 5-pack, if you play with us today and you win, you get a free month of the DFS 5-pack as well, just the boot, as well as getting mentioned on the show tomorrow. And, of course, the money that goes with actually winning the draft. Weekly and monthly memberships all up via the website. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Let's talk about some of the plays we're going to be looking at today. Today's cover boy, Nicole Yokic. So it's going to be really, 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 really easy to double stud today. So you're going to have two guys at your disposal. One of the guys that is very much shortlisted for me today is going to be center for the Denver Nuggets, Nicole Yokic. You know, without Jamal Murray around, this guy's going to have to do a lot. And from my opinion, the front runner for MVP this year now, Yokic, is going to have more consistent performances without Jamal Murray around. He runs the offense. It's not crazy to think that he gets darn near averaging a triple-double by the end of the year. He's averaging 8.8 assists right now. I bet you by the end of the season that goes over 9. Again, it's super easy to afford 2 studs today. Center's not as loaded as normal. Like, you don't have these, pay down options that are absolute requirements. Now, there are options, but they're not as big of a requirement as we've seen on some slates lately. Jokic, nothing's a lock, right? But, he's a virtual lock for 50 plus. As long as, this game is semi-competitive and he doesn't get into foul trouble or get hurt, it's really unlikely you're going to see him drop below the 50-point threshold. He rebounds too well. He has to score now. They run the offense through him. The assists are going to come. Memphis is shorthanded in the front court now without Jonas Valanciunas tonight, so they don't have as many bodies to throw at him. And we'll get into some of the places you want to go on Memphis for that reason. So Jokic, to me, is just such a solid source of points right here that I think you can run him in any format tonight. And you might prefer another stud. Well, that's okay, guys, because you can easily run 2 of them today. It won't even be an issue. There'll be no challenge trying to do that. Next up, let's talk about the point guard position. We got Killian Hayes, the Detroit Pistons. So we've been watching a lot of this lately. With the Pistons tanking, there's no Dennis Smith Jr., no Corey Joseph, no Jeremy Grant tonight. You got a solid matchup with the Cleveland Cavaliers. We've seen this script before. In a similar situation the other day, he about 10x'd. His odds for 10xing today are decent. It's really difficult to see him not with at least a decent day in this position. Without the other point guards around, with the exception of Saban Lee, without Jeremy Grant to kind of help run the offense, he should have a really nice usage rate right here. There's a couple other guys that they'll run out there, like I said, Saban Lee and stuff like that. But you have to assume Killian Hayes is going to be big chalk for all formats because he deserves to be. We get too much of this year in the NBA, where we got guys that are starting point guards for under 4K against bad basketball teams. So he's going to be wildly popular for all of the obvious reasons. Next up, this is why it's really easy to afford double studs. You got Killian Hayes, which is a lock. You also have Xavier Tillman with no Jonas Valanciunas, which is big, right? Like, they're going to need big bodies to try to at least slow down Nikola Jokic. Doesn't mean Tillman will be able to stop him or even slow him down, but they're going to at least have to make their best effort right here. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been downgraded from out to doubtful, but we'll take him at their word, just assuming he's not going to play yet. He's been out for a long time. Even if he did play, it would be limited minutes. And then Brandon Clark might also be out again today, so they're going to be really hurting at size. Tillman is a guy, very likely starter today, going to play decent minutes no matter what. They're going to need his size. What's really important here for me, too, is, well, besides the fact that he's only 3,400, when you've seen him excel in this position before, like, he's got power forward eligibility now. So it becomes an easier punt play. Some of these nights, like, we might have multiple good centers that are super, super cheap and you can't play everybody. Well, you got power forward, center, utility, eligibility right here. He's going to be really easy to get in your lineup. Probably somebody you should look at in all formats as well. We've seen this story before. It's a story that works out with him almost always giving you some version of value on this price tag. I'm assuming he'll also be pretty popular tonight. Next up, let's talk about long shots of the day. So I'm taking a look at Patty Mills of the San Antonio Spurs. So right here, he's not going to get a ton of attention today because we have so many better optimal paydown spots. So this is a guy you can run at the shooting guard position. And while his role on this team's a little bit erratic because they have Derek White, they got DeMar DeRozan, they got DeJounte Murray, you don't always need him to have a big participation that day. He's also a guy who's giving you 21 plus in 4 of 10. So he's a little bit erratic. He's probably coming very low owned. He's very capable of dropping a 25, 26, 27, 8 DK point spot at 3,300. I would only do this in GPPs, but he shouldn't get much attention today because you don't need the cap space. So I think the shooting guard position right here, like let's say you wanted to grab like Yokic, for example, and you're going to eat up some of the center and point guard spots. This could be a filler piece at the point guard position. All right, next up for our other long shot of the day, my boys, the Milwaukee Bucks at home tonight against the Phoenix Suns. So both of these teams are coming off embarrassing Saturday night performance. The Phoenix Suns got rolled by an under. The Spurs literally gave the game to the Suns. They tanked it on purpose. Didn't play DeRozan. Didn't play Jacob Poeltl. And yet the Suns played so terrible that the JV squad of the San Antonio Spurs rolled them. So that's an embarrassing loss for the Phoenix Suns. Meanwhile, my Milwaukee Bucks made Grayson Allen look like the second coming of Larry Bird. He shot them out of the gym. So two good basketball teams coming off embarrassing performances. I expect a good game tonight. What I like about Mikal Bridges is literally the same thing I bring up almost every time we watch a Milwaukee Bucks game. We talked about Dylan Brooks on Saturday. What did he do? Flat out balled on him. What's going to happen again today? They're going to give all their defensive attention to DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker, which means Mikal Bridges, a guy like him, maybe a Jay Crowder if you want to throw him in there, are going to get wide open threes. Now, Bridges is not a great three-point shooter, but he is a capable three-point shooter. His price tag's a little bit down right now. It's another spot where, you don't need paydown options. So guys like him are going to get a little bit overlooked because you have better optimal plays at cheaper prices. So he's going to get a bunch of wide open threes. If he gets going from three-point range today, we've seen him. He's a boomer bust type of guy. He's got plenty of 35-plus point performances this year. He's got a bunch of mid to upper teens in there as well. So I put him on the boom bust list today. And he's going to be, I would assume, relatively low owned today. But this game's got the opportunity to be competitive. Again, two good basketball teams coming off embarrassing losses. I expect Mikal Bridges to give you a real legit opportunity to go off tonight if he can make his three-pointers. Now, again, he's not a great three-point shooter, so that is no lock. But he's a decent three-point shooter, and he's going to get open shots tonight. Obviously, you can do all the other things that go along with it. But the Bucks, despite being loaded with really good individual defenders, Brook Lopez, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Drew Holiday, they don't always play great team defense. I think it's a coaching issue, but that's why guys like Bridges get wide open threes all the time. All right, guys, that is what I got for you today. Don't forget to click that thumbs up button and come draft with us today. 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, $10 MLB draft. Let's get it going. If you're brand new to drafters today, it's like a snake draft, like an old school fantasy draft. If you win, you get announced on the show tomorrow, and you get a free month of the DFS buyback. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.